Hey everyone, in this video I'll tell you all about a Palestinian novel called Men in the Sun by Ghassan Kanafani. Ghassan Kanafani was born in Palestine in 1936. He worked as a teacher, journalist, novelist, and Palestinian activist. He died in 1972 in a car bomb in Beirut, Lebanon. Men in the Sun is his best-known fiction, published in 1962, and the story is the basis of an Egyptian movie called The Deceived. The book was translated from Arabic to English in 1999 by Hilary Kilpatrick. Now let me summarize the story. The novella is about three Palestinian refugees in Iraq. The first part of the novel deals with the characters in Iraq trying to get to Kuwait for better working conditions, and also about their desperate situation inside Iraq, being unable to find work. They approach a smuggler, but he asks for a big sum of money which they don't have. Then they meet a lorry driver who agrees to take them across the border for a reasonable sum of money. They embark inside the lorry full of hopes and dreams. Kuwait seems like a place where they can easily get a job and make good money. The weather is hot. The heat can be felt as ominous. When they get close to the border, the driver asks the three passengers to hide inside the empty tank to avoid detection by the border police. They endure the 6 minutes inside the unbearably hot tank in the heat of the desert that beats on the metal tank. Once they are safely out of Iraqi border control, the driver opens the tank lid and lets them out. The three men are so exhausted from the heat that they cannot utter a word. Drenched in sweat, they lie down, unable to say anything. But the ordeal is not over yet. They have to hide again inside the tank to safely cross the Kuwaiti side of the border check. They reluctantly go inside the tank once again. At the border check, the driver knows some of the stuff, so they keep him with some chit-chat a bit longer than necessary as they banter and talk about some prostitute the driver is supposed to have slept with in Basra city in Iraq. The driver attempts several times to dislodge himself, but the border staff continue with their jokes and conversation. Finally, he manages to leave and starts moving his lorry to a safe distance from border control. Once at a safe distance, he stops and opens the tank lid. He calls their names. There is no answer. We all know what happened. This is one of the most upsetting novels I have ever read. One of the most difficult. It is a testament to the power of Ghassan Kanafani's amazing writing and characterization. They are depicted so real, so lively that you are absolutely devastated by the end. The driver decides to find a suitable spot in the desert to bury the three men, while hoping that the authorities find them and give them a proper burial. Now he has to live with the memories for the rest of his life. Now let me tell you some of the themes of the novel. This is the shortest novel I have read. It's more like novella or a short story, but the impact has been much greater than a lot of novels I have read. I think reading a novel by a Palestinian writer, you cannot help to make some political assumptions. First, I thought it would be a novel about politics of the region, but I was surprised that it doesn't talk about politics. Instead, the novel solely focuses on the characters and their families and lives in Iraq. I loved how the novel, for so vividly bringing these characters to life, away from the political clouds that hang over the region. The writing is so poetic. It's one of the most beautifully rendered, lyrically told stories I have ever read. There's a hint of magic in the storytelling. The narrative kind of floats sometimes. It bounces up and down, hence the story moves undulating in the dunes of the desert. Certain phrases are repeated, passed from one person to another to create a moment of reality as if you are witnessing it all. Here's an example. The huge lorry was carrying them along the road together with their dreams, their families, their hopes and ambitions, their misery and despair, their strength and weakness, their past and future, as if it were pushing against the immense door to a new unknown destiny. Here's another example when the driver discovers them unresponsive. The thought slipped from his mind and ran onto his tongue. Why didn't they knock on the side of the tank? Why didn't you knock on the side of the tank? Why didn't you say anything? Why? The desert suddenly began to send back the echo. Why didn't you knock on the side of the tank? Why didn't you bang on the side of the tank? Why? Just reading these lines brings tears to my eyes. It's so powerful. The main theme of Men in the Sun is of course the shameful man-made borders. Aliens coming to Earth would be horrified to see how humans as a species have divided the Earth into countries with fences and borders. Members of the same species could have a massively different lives depending on which side of a particular border they are born and live. If you look from above, you see deserts, forests, cities, rivers and oceans. You don't see countries. I think this novel highlights this the best. Borders are terrible and unjust. Millions of people suffer obesity on one side of the border, and millions die of hunger and starvation on the other side. If there's the biggest killer out there, I think borders have to be somewhere at the top. Thousands of people die protecting borders, and millions die due to starvation the border inflicts on those on the wrong side. I'm not talking about a particular country or nation here, I mean borders in general. It used to be city walls, but now it's nations' borders that define your fate. The second prominent theme is heat. It's so repressive that while reading you can feel it and makes it hard to breathe. The desert being unforgivable and cruel. Nature is beautiful but also extremely cruel. I think it's up to us humans to make things easier for each other. Cruelty of nature puts a demand on us to be good to each other. In fact, the driver, despite being responsible, is terrified when he discovers them inside the tank unresponsive. Even at the checkpoint, you can feel how nervous he is as the staff keeps making small talk with him. I think small talk is not only not useful, it is extremely dangerous at times. I like the Swedish way. They have a word for small talk. It's called dådprat, which means dead talk. Here it's literally true. The Nordic people are pragmatic and don't waste people's time with stupid conversation. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please help me by sharing this among your friends on social media. Thank you for watching.